Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be testing out the new XX Revolution range. I don't have enough for a full face, but I have like all of the sort of main things. I've got foundation, concealer, I have an eyeshadow palette, I've got a face palette, and I've got a liquid lipstick. So I'm going to be putting those on today. It's not really a testing video for most of the products because I have used them before. I put an order pretty much as soon as it launched and it came really quickly. So I've had the products for a little while now and I haven't tested out the eyeshadow palette yet, but I have been wearing the foundation. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening in today's video. I don't think I'm going to do like a full wear test because I already know how most of this stuff wears on my skin. So I'm going to just put the products on my face and then I'll kind of sum up at the end how I feel about everything. So let's get into it. So the first product I'm going to use today is the Tuxedo eyeshadow palette. It's kind of like velvety. And I got the kind of cool toned one. I was really drawn to it. So I don't know what kind of look I'm going to do yet. I'll just make it up as I go. I can't find my P. Louise makeup base anywhere, which is really irritating. That's the one I always use. It's a really good makeup base and I know how eyeshadows perform on top of it. So I'm just going to be using the Revolution, the Revolution Cut Crease Canvas as my base. And this is in the shade Illustrate. Okay, so I think the first shade I'm going to take is this sort of light brown colour to put through my crease. If you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that this is pretty much how I start every eyeshadow look. And I like to take a sort of big fluffy brush to do that. And then just blend through the crease. You don't want to push too hard, apply too much pressure. I always do my eyeshadow first. Well, I usually do my eyeshadow first. And that is because if I get any fallout, I can just wipe it away and it's not going to mess my foundation up. Going in with sort of circular motions to buff that in, and then like windshield wiper motion. By the way, if you hear any background noise, the tumble dryer is on and my fiance is in the other room playing video games. I'm just gonna dip back into that shade. I think I want to use this shade here. This one's sort of speaking to me. It's kind of like a steely blue grey colour. So I'm just going to pop that all over my lid. I'm going to try using it with a brush first. So it seems to be applying okay with a brush, but I think you would definitely get more colour payoff with your finger, so I'm going to give that a go. There we go. So what I'll do is I'll just put it on my lid using my finger and then I'll like neaten up the edges using a flat shader brush. So I'm going to take my flat brush and just use that to neaten up and get into any places that my finger couldn't reach. Okay, what I think I'm going to do next is take this dark brown shade and use that on my outer corners and kind of bring it into my crease a little bit. So for that I take a smaller fluffy brush. So I'm just sort of bringing it up, almost like a cat eye sort of shape. And I'm going to put that in my outer V and then also bring it into the crease a little bit. But I'm not bringing it all the way in. I'm kind of bringing it halfway. So far the mattes have been really easy to blend. I would sort of drag that dark brown shade slightly along my lash line as well. Now I'm going to go back into the first shade I used in my crease, and I'm going to take a brush that is somewhere in between these two, so it's smaller than this one, which is the one I used first, but bigger than this one. And I'm going to use that just to blend out the edges a bit more. Now I'm going to take the shimmer we used and just intensify it a little bit more. I'm going to see what that shade looks like when you add some setting spray to it. And now again, going back into the dark brown shade with the same small blending brush, just to intensify the outer corners. I'm going to prime my face using the Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot Primer. So for foundation I'm going to be using the Double Fix foundation. I chose this one over the luminous one because I have oily skin, and I chose the shade FX1. I think this shade is a little pink for me, even though it's supposed to have like neutral undertones, and I think that my skin has fairly neutral undertones. The trick with this foundation is you don't want to use too much, so I'm only going to start off with one pump, and I'm just going to dot that on my face. This foundation has really good coverage, so you don't even really need to use that much. And I'm going to blend it out with a damp sponge. So look at that, I still have some left on the back of my hand. And look how far it spread. So you really don't need that much. It reminds me a lot of the Jouer Essential High Coverage Foundation, except that one's really thin and watery, but you only need like, I don't even use a full pump when I use that foundation. And again, if you use too much, it looks really cakey on the skin. I think the shade looks better on camera than it does in real life. I mean, it's not awful in real life, I can get away with it, but I think I would just prefer it to be like a little bit more yellow. The other thing with this foundation is that I find it does look dry sometimes, so you have to really prep your skin well before you use it. So next up, I'm going to use the concealer. This is the Super Fix concealer, and I've used this a few times and I really like it. The only problem is that, oh, that wasn't too bad, stop being a baby. Sometimes it's difficult to get the applicator out of the bottle. Again, I don't want to apply too much of this. And you need to blend this out quickly because it does set quite fast. And I have it in the shade CX1. It's quite a sort of fluidy concealer, if that makes sense. It's not thick like their other concealers. For powder, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder. This is my favourite setting powder. It sets the skin really nicely, it blurs out all your pores and imperfections, and it's really, really good for those of us with oily skin. And I'm going to set the rest of my face using my Real Techniques Instapot face brush. I love this brush, it's my favourite for setting the face. I'm just going to take a wipe and clean the foundation off of my lips. I'm just going to use my Revolution Soap Styler brow soap to brush my brows up a bit. I like to do this after I've powdered because I find that if I do it before powder and then I powder on top, it gets all like gross and sticky and yuck. So I've just taken a bit of my setting spray and sprayed it onto my spoolie, and now I'm just going to brush through. Okay, I'm going to finish up the eyes before I move on to the rest of my face. So I'm going to go back into the eyeshadow palette, and on a sort of like a small blending brush, I'm going to take the first crease shade we used and run that under my lash line. I'm going to take that dark brown shade and I'm going to use it's like a pencil brush, but it's kind of fluffy. I'm sort of copying what I did in the crease. Now I'm going to take the first shimmery shade we used. I'm going to put it on a pencil brush, really teeny tiny pencil brush. And I'm going to run that on the lower lash line. I'm going to pop on some mascara. I'm going to use the Collection Lash Surge. Oh, that is a mouthful. I'm going to take this light champagne shimmery colour and use it to highlight my inner corners. So I picked up two of the complexion palettes. I've got Elemental, which looks like this, and Gravitate, which looks like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the bronzer from the Elemental palette because it's a lot lighter. Cat, kitty cat, kitty cat. That's definitely doing something. These powders are really soft and they blend out, well this one anyway seems to be blending out really easily. So that definitely gave me a bit of colour. So I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna be very light with it. Wow. Let's hope it blends out. Next, I'm going to try out the highlight, and I think I'm going to use the highlight from the Gravitate palette. This one here. But I think it's got quite a strong pink shift to it. Emphasizing a lot of texture. And then I'm going to use the blush from the Gravitate palette as well. That is very shimmery. Doesn't seem to have any glitter in it, so that's good. But it is very, very glowy. And it has a very strong sort of bluey, purpley shift to it. So what I think I'm going to do is just tone it down with one of the blushes from Revolution, the Blusher Reloaded. If I can get it open. This one is in the shade Ballerina, and this is a matte blush. So that didn't really go as planned. I'm just going to take my powder brush and just go over it to tone it down a little bit. Because I look a bit crazy right now. I'm just going to apply some setting spray. This is the Makeup Obsession Matte Fix setting spray. And then I'm going to apply my lipstick. So the lipstick I'm going to be applying is the Satin Liquid Lipstick, and this one is in the shade Phobia. Very pigmented. Wow, that is very lightweight. I should have definitely used a lip liner. I don't think this colour necessarily goes with the eye look. I'm just going to take my pinky finger and blend out the edges. So overall, I do like these products. I am going to use them. I do think they're good quality. I don't think that you need to go out and get them. If there's anything that catches your eye, like maybe an eyeshadow palette, I think would probably be the thing that would be most worth it for me. Yeah, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! I'm going to be using the Liquid Skin. This has such a long name. I think that my... And I think that my... Oh, why is my voice going? I'm not sure. What is this called? I'm just going to use my Revolution... That's gross. I'm using the Kalesh and Gravitate. Oh, crud.